And Thomas James comes up and always in that spot there. Gives the it's over! Pushing along to a pinch point in the bridge! Well, hello there. Before I kick off on this new Darkseid video, I have a thank you for a YouTuber that gave me some vital information about that knockoff toy there. The YouTuber's name is NWR Thomas 25. This YouTuber comes from the Philippines. It's the first time I've had someone who's won something from the Philippines, and he informed me that these sets here are direct rips of what is known as the Thomas Motorized Railway. Apparently these are sets that are sold up through Asian regions. Mind you, Australia is part of Asia last time I looked. And I think anyone who saw that Darkseid video were amazed with what they saw. Now the obvious thing would be to go and get the real sets. They're not available in Australia, but I have seen pictures up online of the boxing of these sets. I'll tell you what, these knockoffs are very, very similar to what's available as the real toy. You may have missed the Darkseid video where I showed this quite amazing Thomas toy. I know YouTube's subscription feed is corrupted and has been for many years. The face on this Thomas toy is what was most alarming. It is exactly like a real Thomas toy, but the face had a major problem where you could actually easily take the face off. And what I worked out from playing with it is you can actually put the face on upside down. It's a great look, isn't it? You just turn the face around. But I shouldn't be praising this toy because this toy is very dangerous. They are illegal toys, and it is actually just surprising how well this knockoff is made. I think, as many people said in the video, and I do agree with them, imagine if this toy came along without the silly light on the front and they stripped out the silly sound chip in there. I think most people would just think, well, that's a legitimate Thomas toy. It is so close to being like the real thing, but I haven't got the hard-up comparison of the actual real toy available to me. Who knows, maybe one day it'll land at my place. With the info that NWR Thomas sent me, it did have me taking a much closer look at these components here, and I was looking for licensing info. I might have skipped over a few very important details when I did that Darkseid video. I think one major important thing I should have really said was the way this has been dressed up, that's actually not a sticker. That there is being printed onto the plastic, and that's just about as good as you're going to find on real toys. Yes, when you see knockoff stuff which is this sprightly and this sort of nice looking, mind you, I'm not promoting this stuff. This stuff can come apart far too easily. I should have made also the comparison, and I had it tucked away in my Thomas collection, was to the Trackmaster 2 Annie. Mind you, this has got like a celebration thing going on there, the red and blue, wasn't it? It came from, I can't remember. But I think in a funny way, when you look at those two Annies there, you start to see you're dealing with two items that are nearly the same scale. Mind you, the underneath workings on them is a little bit different. The knockoff of the Thomas Motorized one is very simple. The Trackmaster 2 one, as you can see, is a little bit more complex. But they're virtually the same gauge, and what I also should have showed is you can actually connect these together as well. So it's, like I said, it's a bit scary when the Darkseid looks this good. Yes, I know it had a lot of people chatting, and thank you very much to the other people that were informing me about the reality of these knockoff toys versus the real toy. You know, that's nicely printed, and like the real Trackmaster 2, that's actually just a sticker on the side, sticker details. About the only thing that's up on it versus the knockoff is that one actually has a face. It was peculiar because NWR Thomas 25 had asked for this. Also, maybe can you send a stock standard take and play Thomas, the 2013 version, or wooden railway. I haven't got the wooden railway one, but what I have got for you is this, and I was quite perplexed that someone asked the 2013 Thomas. There is one there. That's from one of those spiral sets. That's how they came in, the spiral sets wrapped up in that. The 2013 Thomas is what I call the rollover Thomas. This is the one which has got the crush cab and the magnets which are dysfunctional. Sorry for saying it like that, but that's the way I see it. I'll also send you out a Percy. I'll also send you out a Devious Diesel. That's one less in my collection, but I think you're very worthy of it. He's got a great big spiky nose in him. It's quite a nice one, actually. They're all 2013. I'm also going to send you out the glorious gold take and play special edition, which were limited edition, which are very hard to get, which you can't get in the stores now, which are now worth lots on eBay. Thomas, lovely, isn't it? And also, and these are really hard for me to find, really hard, the Streamlined Thomas, which maybe gives the whole story away of that racing Thomas film. Yes, I rather like that model. It's very, very nice. Very hard for me to grab in Australia. If you do see one, grab one. That's what I'm saying. But the main thing you're getting is I'm going to send you out mint and box each one of these sets, and because you live in the Philippines, I dare say you can do a hard-up comparison of both sets for me. That's all I'm asking of you. If you can't do it, don't worry. I would love to see a hard-up comparison of the knockoff versus the real Thomas toys. So, NWR Thomas 25, I will bundle all this stuff up for you. I may find a rubber chicken or something else. Send it off to the Philippines, and now we'll continue on with our Darkseid episode. Hello and welcome to Thomas and Friends Darkseid episode 17. There's probably a bit of a preamble about the previous episode before we kick off on this one. I've got a couple of knockoff Thomas sets here, and I think apart from the disturbing imagery, one of the most disturbing aspects is the high price. This Thomas here, it's actually die cast, it's a complete knockoff, it's a very strange boxing. There was also Stanley and Percy, but I've watched this one climb up to $17. The crazy aspect to that is I can actually go out and buy a real Thomas and Friends toy, and it's that one there, and in Australia, something like that will set you back just under $20. Between that one there and this one here, I know which one I'd choose. Let me just move on to the next ones. I think I've looked at this style of playset before. I mean, I've seen so many of these, it's almost impossible to tell. I'll show the back of the box. Maybe you remember if I've looked at this one. Or maybe I haven't. I'm starting to spook myself here. Nevertheless, this is the stupid highest price I've ever seen one of these knockoff sets for. To give you a feel of the scope of rip-off for that playset there, a real Thomas set like this, if you go to the right retailer in Australia, is about $24. Out of those two there, I'll tell you which one I know I prefer to have. Boy, I hope Mattel watch these videos and see what's going on in Australia. Let me move these aside gently. And the very strange set I'm going to focus on in this video is this train set here. I'm not sure whether I could say it's a Thomas and Friends knockoff. Maybe we'll work this out along the way. When I saw this, I just thought, wow, it looks like it's got like a red version of Thomas, and it's pulling 1, 2, 3 tenders. Happy train, lots of fun accessories. The artwork on the front's bizarre. It's either a red bill or Ben pulling 1, 2 tankers. There's that piece of artwork there. It says 28 pieces. The back of the box looks like this, and it only gets more bizarre. I think this is the most bizarre knockoff or train toy that I've got. I'm being very careful saying knockoff. You tell me whether you think this is a knockoff and lurching you in thinking it's Thomas and Friends. Look at the imagery that I'm showing you flashing by here. I'm getting it for the box. What's inside the box is most probably going to be utter rubbish. Here's my 5 cents on this. When I saw this, to me it felt like I was trying to leech into Thomas and Friends, and I'll point out my reasons why. 28 pieces, they've got like the Thomas and Friends cloud there. To me that looks like Thomas. Okay, a face and like that with an A. That does look like Bill and Ben to me, but it's a totally different colour. The green diesel is bizarre. I want it. Happy diesel, hey? And this picture here, to me, just seems like leeching into Thomas. Unlike many other knockoff toys I look at, it's a box that has very little or next to no Chinglish on it. Even the battery warnings underneath there read out okay. I'll flash them up as a close-up. I know some of my viewers love to read these, so you can pause the video to read them properly if you like. Coming in for the grand unboxing. I had a curious chat to the people who sold this to me. They were Indian. And it just reminded me to say Happy Diwali, because I think that's near Halloween. I did celebrate a Diwali many years ago when I worked in Fiji. A lot of Indian people in Fiji. This is actually packaged pretty well. I think that's the track in that white box. I'm just going to get this out. Wow. Look at that, eh? Sort of nice, but it may not be nice. Just going to unbox what I believe are the track parts and hopefully the bridge piece and the Thunderbirds trees. Aren't they nice? Yeah, obviously this is a TOMY Blue Track rip-off. At first glance, it looks like pretty good knockoff track. I shouldn't say it like that. It's the shiny plastic that's the right colour, and quite, well, pieces that you normally don't see as well. I could only assume this bridge piece here, it's got LEDs on it as well. It may be a knockoff as well. I'll need the TOMY experts to tell me. Wow, it's curious that it's got lights. Here's a piece you often don't see as a knockoff TOMY piece. It's a stop-go piece. The real ones often have that little piece there broken off, that little switch. Yeah, Looks like a very high class knockoff if you ask me. Maybe you can start to see why I grabbed this. It is so different, isn't it? And I've actually just noticed another very horrible thing. There's a speaker there. I hope the bridge piece doesn't have a sound chip. If it does, oh, it's gonna kill me. Well, come in and get out some other pieces here. It's a bit of a stationary thing there. Rather spiffo modern looking if you ask me. Once again, I'm not sure whether that's a knockoff of a TOMY thing. The audience will fill in the gaps, I'm sure. There's some sort of bizarre happy train thing I think that you stick on, I don't know. A couple of tickets, because you need a ticket to ride a train. Of course we've got the tender by 3, which is just so unusual, isn't it? Just so unusual. And yeah, TOMY rip-offs. The strange thing, it's one of those things, as soon as I put something in my hand I get a feel for the quality of the knockoff. It's actually feeling like the better stuff. And of course there's the train, which we've all been very eager to take a look at, especially the Flash. We all like variety in life. This is certainly giving it to us. It's very light in hand. I'm pretty sure I've had this style of knockoff train before, and I'm saying knockoff because I'm calling it, okay? I know you may have called it differently, but hey, I can do a very much welcome to the Darkseid bit here. There you go, Thomas's face is off, straight down the child's throat. Child dies of ingestion of Thomas's face. That's the very sick aspect to these toys. I mean, people think they're getting a bargain when they buy this. I've already showed you that it's actually not a bargain buy. The real toys are the right price, and they are not going to fall apart. This thing is the wrong price, and they fall apart very easily. If I put the batteries in, the horror show will probably continue. Sorry for the brand, I ran out of the Costco batteries. I know people get disturbed by that. And it's the on-off switch which is there. And it's got the horror sound chip and the red lights. Yes, you remember that style, don't you? How could we ever forget it? Let me just turn it off because it's annoying. And we'll take a look at the traction tyre. There is the traction tyre. It stands out so much because it's white against black. I know of this style of train, this front axle will pop out oh so easily, and again you've got more choking hazards on your hands. I've showed that in other Darkseid videos. Even though it's red and gleaming and it seems amazing, don't be impressed with it because all it's going to cause is Thomas trouble. Here's one of the tenders. I don't need to show you all 3. Very glossy coal on top. It's not pulling apart on my hands like I've seen the really bad ones do. It has got a screw in it, so I just can't pop it open like the real bad stuff. Yeah, I just assume this is a complete rip of something that TOMY made for Thomas and Friends on one of their trains. I'm sure of it. The track is probably some of the best knockoff TOMY track I've seen. It's even got the right letters and all. I mean, that piece there is a piece that ascends. It's rare that you see that style of piece in the knockoff parts. The other part I like to look at to give me an assessment of what's going on is the points area, and again it feels pretty good. You can see it's nice and glossy, it's the right colour. Boy, it would fool some people. What you got to look for is the real stuff has TOMY written on it, or Thailand. Okay, so yeah, you got to be very careful. And as for this bridge section, I have put batteries in this thing. It's a horror story. When the trains get to this point here, get ready for it. Oh man, it sounds like something from Angry Birds. Bit curious whether that train will actually activate the bridge, so there'll be double noise here if it works. Oh, it does work. Well, let me carefully build this playset up, and as long as you've got a ticket to ride, you'll be able to watch the train go around the playset. Okay, the playset is made and is obviously up on the table. Remember, this is $40, that is 40 Australian dollars of, well, let's just say lower class toy, knockoff toy. It's one of those toy trains that it's just so unusual, and that's really one of the main reasons why I picked it up. I've made like a little island of trees there, and the bridge came together rather nicely. I can only assume that's a TOMY to Mica ripoff. I'm sorry if I'm wrong there, but just by the way it clipped together and everything, it just feels like it's something which is half decent. If it isn't a TOMY thing, for a knockoff thing, it's amazing. Well, I'll give this very strange James Thomas a go here. We're going to get pummeled by noise, I know. Okay, go James Thomas, go! Over the noisy bridge. He did something weird then, I don't know why. You're going to go around in a small circuit first. See if he fails again. This is his first run with no checkings of what goes on. That is incredibly annoying, hearing that bridge sound, I tell you, every time. We'll do one more very annoying bridge pass here. Oh. Yeah. Okay, and I will send him on the long circuit. Oh, wrong set of points. Over here. Okay, here comes Thomas James on the longer circuit now, going right out the front to the edge of the table, doing his knockoff Thomas best to look impressive. You're going to have that. Oh, that actually has been happening far too much. So I think what's going on there is it's the train which isn't even matched up to the playset. It comes along here and it wants to ride up. Maybe I've got to study it a bit more as it goes around. Looking carefully. Okay, did we see that? Let me just go back and look at that in slow motion. Sometimes he makes it through. Try and study it again. Ooh. So we can see that the train doesn't really marry the playset by the way it likes to catch on that bridge. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't do it. And I know that one thing, that sound chip happens every time. I might just come and do a bit of a custom bend here without doing an endorsement for Hillary Clinton in the background. Will he make it through? Oh, just. Go, Thomas James, go! I'm actually curious to give the Thomas from the previous Darkseid video a go. That was the most amazing knockoff. See how it runs in this set. It may get jagged up. Doesn't like the points. Going over to the bridge. It doesn't like going up the bridge either. It doesn't like do much on this place, does it? In fact, it's getting caught up everywhere. Come on, little knockoff. Do your stuff. Oh, James is going to catch up and ram. Oh, straight to the back of Andy there, looking very, very ugly. Actually, it's helping it along, but not for long because it's going to get, oh, jammed on the bridge. And that is actually looking very, very ugly. Maybe Thomas James can give a bit of a nudge there, but he's just fallen over. And the strange little faker will stumble and spurt his way along until he comes across the back there, and he'll do next to nothing because he's got no power. Let me turn this one off and get rid of it for a moment, and I'll just get Thomas James back up on the tracks if he can control himself. And what I might do, and it may not work or may work because I'm going to get that train there, the Flying Scotsman, and give it a run on this TOMY knockoff blue track. It may not like the track, but we'll see how it goes. This Trackmaster Flying Scotsman from the Great Race, it's a great Trackmaster train, I think. I've only just found it, and we'll see if it'll chug along here. It may have troubles because I know Trackmaster 2 doesn't like the TOMY blue track. Yes, we're sort of having troubles there, but nevertheless, who knows? Thomas James might give the Flying Scotsman a bit of a nudge along and help him every now and then. Stranger things have happened on my channel, I can tell you. Oh, there you go. If he has a bit of a stop there, he gets a bit of a nudge. Now, one wonders how long that relationship's going to last before there's a train crash. Something about trains when they play up, you sort of can't keep your eyes off them. It's a bit like the saying, you can't keep your eyes off a train wreck, can you? It looks ugly, but they're somehow scampering through. Oh, nudging, nudging, nudging. It's looking horribly dangerous, and somehow they're staying on track. Just. Only just. Oh, getting nasty there, getting nasty. The funny thing is, this is the way children like to play because I watch the way my son plays. They like jeopardy. They like things to go wrong, and they like things to crash into each other. They just absolutely love it. They can't get enough of it. And in a strange way, I'm sort of probably set the same way. Come on, Thomas James, you can do something better than this. We're just going to keep giving him the slightest nudge. Why don't you ram him off the rails? Completely off the rails. I'm sure you can do it. I'm sure you've got the power, the gusto. Oh, that was a nice punch out there. Something has to give here. Whoa. Whoa, whammo. Every time. It's the same spots where that Flying Scotsman gets stuck. And he scampers away in that bit there. He'll sort of get stuck here-ish. Yeah, and Thomas James comes up and always in that spot there. Gives the... Oh, it's over! It's over! Pushing along to a pinch point in the bridge. You definitely don't see that on YouTube. every day. Well, I better come in and stop this train wreck because the Flying Scotsman fans would be in a complete rage that I did that. They'd be saying, give respect to the Scotsman, my goodness me. Okay, I'll give this one more run around the circuit and I'll have my final bit to say about this knockoff train. Okay, well, what are the things that I like and don't like about this toy? And I'm going to call it a knockoff. I don't like the price. I don't mind the bridge. Okay, the bridge piece is fairly awesome. I don't like these trees. They also present choking hazards. They fall apart far too easily. This section here is actually half decent. I tried to pull this apart and make it rip apart, but it's not doing that. I can only assume it's a rip off of a TOMY something. As for the train, these trains, I've had them before. I don't like them. Now you can hear me, can't you? Things like the face just fall off far too easily. Unfortunately, you can get into the batteries way too easily, and this is where the real trouble starts. And I know the front axles and everything on these things can be ripped out easily as well, although this one's not going to do it for me. Other ones do. These, I've seen worse, put it this way, with the things that it's pulling along. I've seen far worse. As for the knockoff track, it's probably some of the better stuff that I've seen. There would be people who are easily fooled by that. But overall, I mean really, it's a con. And the real toy is going to be far safer and better value for you. It's the strangest thing because I go to the markets and I see people buying this toy for children. I feel like tapping them on the shoulder and saying, wake up to yourself. But hey, maybe these videos is what that's all about. And also, if you're thinking you're going to get this playset, and I think I'll just run and get a, today's Thomas. As we saw with the Flying Scotsman, these toys will struggle on this track. And I mean really struggle. Maybe, yeah, there you go. Thomas is struggling there. So, even with the current toys of today, they just don't work on this style of track. And I know there's been a lot of angst about that, but in a strange way, it's sort of nice that they don't work on the knockoff sets that well. Because it stops some really silly stuff going on, I'm sure. I'm feeling this video is getting too long for YouTube today. Sadly, I have to leave it here. As always, thanks for watching, and bye for now.